Hello everyone, it is I, Shadow Cologne, aka Shadow Xtreme. This is going to be a video of my top 5 craziest wrestling moments in my wrestling career. I started my wrestling career in September 1st, 2008. My wrestling trainer goes by the name of Rob Stardom. He's the one that broke me into the wrestling business. He's the one that gave me my biggest opportunity to get into the wrestling business. Thank you. And since then, I've been still wrestling, and I've been through so many situations, so many things in my journey. Number 5. This is when my career was starting out. So this was a year after I began. This was in 2009. I was in a TLC match. For those who don't know what a TLC match is, the tables, ladders, and chairs. We use these things for weapons, and it was a 6-man TLC match, and then we went all out. Even though I was only 1 year in the business, I was involved in that wrestling match. And then we did a lot of crazy things that night, man. A lot of crazy things. You know, I got clotheslined really hard. My nose was just bleeding. I got hit with the head of a chair. I guess by many other things. I did an outside dive. There's a part where they had me on his shoulders, and then I got clotheslined. There's a part there where I hit my opponent off the turnbuckle. The ladder fell on top of him, and I ended up doing like a small kind of swanton on him, boom, onto the ladder. But the craziest thing, my craziest wrestling moment of that wrestling match is when I was on the ladder. I was climbing up to the ladder, and then one of my opponents came and pushed the ladder, and I fell right out of the ring, right from the top, right out of the ring, and hit the floor really hard. Whew. That was really kind of a really scary moment, because you know, wrestling's unpredictable sometimes, because that I didn't know was going to happen. And if I didn't know what I was doing, I would have hit that top rope and I would have got really hurt more. But I slightly just nipped it just a little bit, so I'm considered lucky. Would have been a lot worse if I hit that rope. But that was an oh my God moment. Number 4. This was in 2012. A really good experience. Nothing really crazy happened in the wrestling match, but you know the thing that was really crazy about this one? We got to wrestle on top of a boat while it was drifting in the river. So we had a 2-hour show on top of on a boat, and we wrestled. We wrestled on the boat, and then during my entrance, I went on the ropes. Yeah. And I guess there's people who were driving under a bridge during that time, and the local Winnipeg newspaper took a picture, and then I made the newspaper the next day. My picture was on the front cover. Wrestling on a boat, like you never seen that before in Winnipeg. So this was the first time, and hopefully we can do this again. But it was really fun. It was a crazy time to actually wrestle on a boat. You know, we even wrestled like outside of the ring, and then we did a spot where he was trying to throw me out of the boat. Yeah, that was a really fun time. Number 3. Okay, number 3 is this time where I took a long trip to Denver, Colorado in the United States. I took the plane, got into a vehicle, you know, we had to find a venue. We're right beside Fashion 303.
Oh, smack it.
A U.S. port office.
We're allowed to go in the back, right?
We better.
I think that's your thing there. It looks like wrestlers. And that's
And then when we got there, it was pretty deadly, like pretty crazy. Yeah, it was crazy that night, man. Everybody just gave their all, 100%. Oh, all these wrestlers were just beating the crap out of each other. Beating the crap out of each other. There was a guy there that had skewers in his head, you know. Everybody was bloody. And then I had my match. Right, shout Xtreme and Zamino here at Slave to the Death match, number 5. This is our before thing. So we use like sinks, pizza pans, you know, cheese graters. We use a toaster. Oh, that match just went all out, man. We just destroyed each other that night. And then I got this.
Alright, set him up. God damn it. Oh, he's up on the second rope.
I got the cheese grater in my head. The blood, man. The blood was just going down my face, man. There was a part there where I was just hanging on the ropes. And I was looking down, the blood was just like dripping like lots, man. Just dripping lots onto the thing there. And then for the last part, my last part, I tried to clothesline my opponent, and they gave me their finishing move onto the kitchen sink, and that was it. 1, 2, 3, I was out. But, you know, as you can see, my face was just covered in blood. Yeah, that was crazy. So that's number 3. Number two is when I had my wrestling cage match. This happened in 2016, and then we did some crazy stuff there.
He should be. I know he should. He should be. Standard, you're bringing up the past. We're talking about the present. Why is Ron Sergeant spits? Oh, boot to the face. I mean, grinding his face against the steel cage.
He hit me with a golf club. You know, I hit him back. You can't really see it, but I was bleeding a little bit too because there was a little bit of blood. And the biggest moment is when I was able to do the Swanton bomb off the cage. Bam! That was it, man. Wow. And I pinned him 1, 2, 3. I did it. For the ones that know me back in Pucktawagan, I've always been a very big daredevil, jumping off a lot of things, doing flips off a lot of stuff. And then of course, obviously you would know, you'd be like, oh yeah, Shadow would do that. And thank you for having the cage match with me.
No way, Shadow Xtreme on the top of the cage is absolute Swanton bomb from the top of the cage by Shadow Xtreme.
For my number 1 wrestling moment, this was back in 2014. This took place in Winnipeg, Manitoba, in the Garden City Mall. In the center, we had wrestling shows there. And then I had the opportunity to be inside the wrestling ring with the local crew and some other wrestlers that are from a different province. And it was an opportunity to work with them. And it was a very big honor to be wrestling in the same ring with Jake the Snake Roberts. As a kid, I've watched a lot of wrestling. I've watched Jake the Snake on TV. I seen him with his snake coming out with his bag, and then after he does his finishing move, the DDT, and and then he dumps the snake on them, you know. As a kid, I was like, oh my God, man, whoa, you know, that's gonna be scary because I've never been around, I've never been close to or seen a real big snake like that. So the crazy moment I'm trying to get into is when he gave me his finishing move, and then he dumps the snake on me. Like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, you know, this little kid from Pukatawaga, Manitoba, little native kid from an isolated reserve, is wrestling Jake the Snake Roberts and getting a snake dumped on him. Wow. So that's my number one wrestling moment.
Disgusting! Oh no, look at that snake. It's wrapping itself around Shadow Xtreme's neck. God, get it off him.
I'm stunned. I can't even believe what I just saw.
I hate reptiles.
Well, thank you for watching my top 5 craziest wrestling moments. Hopefully I can make another video, something like this, with something else, you know. I like to share my stories of this and that. Of all the people, all the wrestlers, all the people I associated with during my wrestling career, thank you so much for putting up with For the wrestling companies that I work for, thank you so much. For the wrestling promoters that I work for, thank you for giving me spots, you know. Thank you for like making me part of your wrestling history, your wrestling shows. You know, shout out Xtreme, a native man from northern Manitoba. I don't like the term bragging rights, but you know, I'm the first native guy from northern Manitoba to have a wrestling career like this. And probably the only one that ever wrestled Jake the Snake Roberts. Thank you for watching, and come back to watch more Shout Xtreme videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Peace.
Tony, come here, check this out!